the 6th of June, 1944. Dawn breaks over the English Channel and eerie silence hangs in the air, punctuated by the distant rumble of aircraft engines. This is D-Day, the culmination of years of planning. The largest seaborne invasion in history is about to unfold. Operation Overlord, the Allied invasion of Nazi-occupied France, hinges on the bravery and sacrifice of thousands of men. Among them, the British Airborne Infantry stand ready to strike behind enemy lines. Their objective to secure key bridges and disrupt German defences, paving the way for the main invasion force landing on the beaches of Normandy. The success of D-Day and ultimately the liberation of Europe depends on the success of these airborne operations. The stage is set for a momentous clash of arms, a day that will forever be etched in the annals of military history. Operation Overlord represents a pivotal moment in World War II. By 1944, the tide of war had begun to turn against Nazi Germany. The Soviet Union was pushing back the Germans on the Eastern Front. In the Pacific, American forces were gaining ground against the Japanese. Yet, Western Europe remained under the iron grip of the Third Reich. The Allied invasion of France was a monumental undertaking requiring unprecedented coordination and resources. The liberation of France, and ultimately the defeat of Nazi Germany, hinged on the success of this daring operation. The success of the British airborne operations on D-Day hinged on meticulous planning and rigorous training. The paratroopers and glider pilots of the 6th Airborne Division underwent an intensive training regimen. From parachute jumps into darkened fields to mock assaults on enemy positions, every detail was scrutinized. The training was relentless, pushing the men to their physical and mental limits. They practiced landing in hostile terrain, navigating by night and engaging the enemy in close quarters combat. The use of live ammunition and realistic battlefield simulations instilled in them the skills needed to survive the heat of battle. As D-Day approached, the men of the 6th Airborne Division stood ready, their resolve tempered in the crucible of training. Behind the scenes, a different kind of battle was being waged, the battle for intelligence. The success of the airborne landings depended on accurate and up-to-date information about German defences, troop deployments and terrain. The Allied intelligence services played a crucial role in gathering this vital information. Agents operating behind enemy lines, aerial reconnaissance photographs, and intercepted German communications provided a fragmented but increasingly clear picture of the enemy's dispositions. The intelligence gathered revealed the formidable nature of the German defences. Pegasus Bridge, a vital crossing over the Caen Canal, had to be captured intact to prevent German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. The lives of thousands of men, the fate of the invasion itself, rested on the accuracy of the intelligence and the ability of the airborne troops to exploit it. Section 3. Gliders in the Night, a novel approach. A key element of the British airborne assault was the use of gliders to deliver troops and equipment silently behind enemy lines. These engineless aircraft, towed by transport aircraft and released to glide silently to their targets, offered a tactical advantage in surprise and precision. The Horsa glider, with its ability to carry 30 fully equipped troops or jeeps and anti-tank guns, became a workhorse of the British airborne forces. The glider pilots displayed remarkable skill and courage, flying these unwieldy aircraft in the dead of night. The use of gliders allowed the British to seize key objectives quickly and stealthily, catching the German defenders off guard. The gliders, though fragile and unforgiving, played a pivotal role in shaping the course of the battle and the eventual Allied victory. Section 1, Under a Canopy of Stars, the Drop Zones. As midnight passed on the 6th of June, the first wave of British airborne troops took to the skies. Hundreds of C-47 Dakota transport aircraft, laden with paratroopers and their equipment, rumbled into the night sky over southern England, their destination drop zones east of the Orne River, deep within enemy-occupied territory. Navigating by the stars and relying on rudimentary navigational aids, the pilots steered their aircraft through the darkness, avoiding enemy searchlights and anti-aircraft fire. The success of the entire operation hinged on the accuracy of these drops, on delivering the paratroopers to their designated landing zones with minimal casualties and maximum surprise. As the aircraft approached their drop zones, a red light flashed in the cabin, signaling the paratroopers to prepare for their jump. With a mix of trepidation and resolve, the paratroopers leaped into the darkness, their descent illuminated by the pale glow of the moon. Section 2, First Encounters, Skirmishes in the Darkness. The British paratroopers landed scattered across the Normandy countryside, some hitting their designated drop zones with precision, others blown off course by the wind or forced to jump from low altitudes to avoid enemy fire. The darkness, while providing a cloak of concealment, also brought with it confusion and disorientation. Small groups of men, often separated from their units, found themselves behind enemy lines, surrounded by the sounds of an unfolding battle. The paratroopers, armed with their Sten guns, grenades and fighting knives, used the cover of darkness and the confusion to their advantage, launching small-scale attacks on enemy patrols and strongpoints. Skirmishes erupted in the darkness, the crackle of gunfire echoing through the fields and villages. The paratroopers, trained for this moment, fought with courage and determination, their training kicking in as they neutralized enemy positions and secured their objectives. Section 3, Holding the Line, the fight for the bridges. One of the primary objectives of the British airborne assault was the capture of two strategically vital bridges over the Caen Canal and the Orne River Pegasus Bridge and Ronville Bridge. These bridges, if captured intact, would prevent German reinforcements from reaching the beaches and allow the Allied forces landing at Sword Beach to push inland. The task of capturing these bridges fell to the men of the 2nd Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, led by Lieutenant Colonel John Howard. The assault on Pegasus Bridge, a daring glider operation, unfolded with clockwork precision. 6 Horsa gliders carrying platoons of lightly armed infantry and a detachment of Royal Engineers swooped silently through the night sky, landing within yards of their objective. Within minutes, Pegasus Bridge was in British hands, a testament to the meticulous planning and audacious execution of the operation. Section 1, A Bridge Too Far, the struggle for control. Securing the bridges was just the beginning. The men of the 2nd Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, now joined by reinforcements from the 7th Parachute Battalion, faced the daunting task of holding their positions against determined German counterattacks. Throughout the early hours of D-Day, waves of German infantry and armour, alerted to the Allied landings, converged on the bridges, seeking to dislodge the British paratroopers and stem the tide of the invasion. The British paratroopers, outnumbered and outgunned, fought with tenacity and courage, repelling wave after wave of German assaults. Their Sten guns, grenades and anti-tank weapons took a heavy toll on the enemy, but the Germans, fighting with the ferocity of cornered animals, refused to be denied. The paratroopers, dug in around the bridges, held their ground with grim determination. Section 2, Merville Battery silencing the guns. While the battle for the bridges raged, another daring operation unfolded a few miles to the east. The Merville Battery, a formidable German artillery emplacement overlooking Sword Beach, posed a significant threat to the Allied landings. Armed with 4 150mm guns capable of wreaking havoc on the vulnerable landing craft, the battery had to be silenced. The task of neutralizing the battery fell to the 9th Parachute Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Terence Otway. Despite heavy casualties and fierce resistance, the paratroopers fought their way into the battery, engaging the German defenders in a chaotic close-quarters battle. The German defenders, taken by surprise and overwhelmed by the ferocity of the assault, fought back with determination, but their resistance crumbled under the relentless British onslaught. The price of valor, casualties and attrition. As dawn broke over Normandy, the British airborne forces had achieved their initial objectives. Pegasus Bridge and Ranville Bridge were secured, the Merville Battery was silenced, and a vital foothold had been established on the eastern flank of the invasion area. But the victory had come at a heavy price. Hundreds of British paratroopers lay dead or wounded, their sacrifice a testament to the ferocity of the fighting and the courage of the men who fought and died that day. Despite the odds stacked against them, the British paratroopers held on, their courage and determination unbroken. Their sacrifice bought valuable time for the Allied forces landing on the beaches, preventing the Germans from launching a coordinated counterattack and contributing significantly to the eventual success of the D-Day landings. The chaos of contact, linking up with seaborne forces. As the sun climbed higher in the sky on June 6th, the British paratroopers eagerly awaited reinforcements from the sea. The 3rd British Infantry Division landing at Sword Beach was to link up with the airborne troops. However, fierce German resistance made contact perilous. The paratroopers scanned the horizon for their comrades, their hopes rising with each passing hour. Communication was sporadic, adding to the confusion. German forces poured reinforcements into the area. The first contacts were marked by relief and apprehension. A village under siege. The stand at Breville. Breville, on a strategic ridge overlooking the Orne River, became a focal point on D-Day. German forces launched counterattacks to recapture the high ground. The 6th Airborne Division, stretched thin, defended Breville against overwhelming odds. Supported by glider-borne anti-tank guns and tanks, they repelled wave after wave. The battle raged into the night, a brutal struggle for survival. Buildings were reduced to rubble, the air thick with cordite and cries of the wounded. The paratroopers, low on ammunition, fought with the courage of desperation. Section 3. Holding the line, the eastern flank secured. As darkness fell on June 6th, the outcome of the battle for the eastern flank of the Normandy landings hung precariously in the balance. The British airborne forces, exhausted and depleted, had held their ground against determined German counterattacks, their sacrifice buying valuable time for the seaborne forces to establish a foothold on the beaches. The arrival of reinforcements from the 3rd British Infantry Division, coupled with the relentless pressure exerted by the Allied air forces, finally turned the tide. The German attacks, though still fierce, gradually lost their momentum, their offensive capabilities blunted by heavy casualties and logistical difficulties. By the morning of June 7th, the eastern flank of the Normandy beachhead was firmly under Allied control. The British airborne forces, their mission accomplished, had played a pivotal role in the success of the D-Day landings, their courage and sacrifice paving the way for the liberation of Europe. Section 1. A foothold for freedom. As dawn broke on June 7, 1944, the significance of the British Airborne Infantry's actions became clear. The men of the 6th Airborne Division, exhausted and bloodied, had secured the eastern flank, buying crucial time for the invasion. The capture of Pegasus Bridge prevented German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. Silencing the Merville Battery removed a significant threat to the Allied fleet. The defense of Breville secured vital high ground overlooking the invasion area. Despite setbacks, the courage and skill of the British paratroopers achieved a remarkable victory. The legacy of D-Day's British Airborne Infantry extends far beyond Normandy. Their courage and sacrifice inspire generations of soldiers and civilians. They embodied the best of human spirit, showcasing courage, camaraderie, and selflessness. Their stories continue to resonate worldwide. The image of British paratroopers landing silently in the darkness and the thunder of gliders disgorging their troops serve as powerful reminders of the sacrifices made to liberate Europe. Section 3. A turning point in history. D-Day, June 6, 1944, marked a turning point in World War II. The successful Allied landings in Normandy, made possible in no small part by the heroic actions of the British Airborne Infantry, established a crucial foothold in Western Europe, paving the way for the eventual liberation of France and the defeat of Nazi Germany. The liberation of Europe from Nazi tyranny came at a heavy price. Thousands of Allied soldiers, including many brave British airborne troops, made the ultimate sacrifice on the beaches and in the Bocage country of Normandy. Their sacrifice, however, helped to secure a more peaceful and prosperous future for Europe and the world. The D-Day landings and the subsequent campaign to liberate France stand as a testament to the power of international cooperation and the indomitable spirit of those who fought for freedom against oppression. The British Airborne Infantry, with their daring operations and unwavering courage, played a vital role in this pivotal chapter of human history, their legacy forever intertwined with the triumph of freedom over tyranny.